The Atlas comet is full of surprises. It looks like a tail is starting to form. Scientists don't really know why. Right now, a gigantic object weighing 73 trillion kilograms is flying through our solar system at 200,000 kilometers per hour. And it didn't come from here. Scientists discovered something very strange in the light it reflects, something they've never seen in any comet before. The path this object is taking through space passed very close to Mars at such a precise time that the chance of this happening by accident is less than 1 in a million. The object is quite large and is following a path that passes close to the planets around the Sunday. A very famous scientist from Harvard named Avi Loeb thinks there's a 30 to 40% chance that this isn't entirely natural. Even more frightening, when the American government stopped working for a few days, NASA's website stopped showing information precisely when this object passed closest to Mars. Atlas broke all the rules we thought space objects followed. Here's what should scare you most. If this object was made by someone, it's watching us. Think about it. The most important question is whether it could be technology or if it's just natural. We hope to know more in the coming days. Atlas came from a direction where beings from other planets could have seen Earth passing in front of the Sunday. According to scientist Loeb's calculations, any civilization in that region could have discovered our solar system, just like we discover other planets. They would know exactly where our planets are when they orbit around the sun and which one has life. The object's path places it right in that detection zone. If someone sent this probe after observing Earth, they might have been watching us for thousands of years, waiting for the right moment to arrive. If you like space mysteries like this, hit the subscribe button. We're tracking this object in real time. For months, people have been asking the same frightening questions about Atlas. The answers are much more disturbing than you imagine. This space visitor has 7 documented strange things that scientists can't properly explain. Unlike other space objects we've seen, this one doesn't fit into any category. Let's start with the most disturbing fact. Its impossible weight. At over 73 trillion kilograms, Atlas is about 6 million times heavier than the most powerful rocket we have. This weight estimate comes from Harvard researchers who noticed something bizarre. Even releasing gases that create a cloud around it, the object's path barely changes. Normally, when comets release gas, they get pushed around like a balloon, letting out air. Not this one. It's so heavy that these jets barely affect its path. Here, it gets even stranger. From what we know about space between stars, there simply isn't enough rocky material out there to deliver such a heavy object to our solar system. Avi Loeb calculated that based on the known amount of matter between stars, we should have seen hundreds of smaller objects before finding something so gigantic. We haven't. As Loeb said, there isn't enough rocky material in space between stars to deliver a giant rock like this to our solar system in the last decade. The timing raises even more questions. On October 3rd, 2025, Atlas passed 29 million kilometers from Mars, close enough for our robots and satellites to take unprecedented photos. The Perseverance robot captured something moving across the Martian sky, a slanted line that didn't match normal star trails. But here's the problem. Precisely when this historic encounter happened, many NASA websites went silent because of the government shutdown. The timing seems very convenient when scientists worldwide were desperate for real-time updates. What we managed to capture before the blackout is deeply confusing. The object appears elongated, more like other strange objects than a typical round comet. It doesn't have the dramatic tail we'd expect from something so active. Instead, it's surrounded by a diffuse cloud of ionized gas that behaves differently from anything in our databases. The chemical composition adds another layer of mystery. Scientists detected cyanide and carbon monoxide, not uncommon for comets, but they also found evidence suggesting the environment around Atlas resembles Mars-like conditions rather than typical regions where comets are born. This suggests the object might have come from a planet's surface, not the icy depths of space where comets are born. The object's behavior around the sun also defies expectations. On September 25th, a solar storm hit Atlas directly. Scientists expected this blast of charged particles to dramatically alter the comet, maybe even break it apart. Follow-up observations on September 27th and October 2nd showed nothing dramatic. No fragmentation, no sudden tail formation, just gradual expansion of its envelope. It's almost as if the object is more resistant than any natural comet should be. Here's what really keeps scientists awake at night: the polarization anomaly. When sunlight hits dust particles around comets, it creates a specific pattern we can measure. Every comet we've studied shows positive polarization at large viewing angles. Atlas shows negative polarization of 2.77% at a phase angle of 6.4 degrees, more extreme than any comet ever observed. This means the dust around it is fundamentally different from anything in our solar system. The particles might be rougher, more irregular, or made of materials we've never encountered. The trajectory itself tells a story. Unlike random space debris, Atlas moves on a path aligned almost perfectly with our solar system's plane, where all planets orbit. The probability of this happening by chance is 0.002% or 1 in 500. Then consider it passed close to Mars, will pass close to Jupiter on March 16th, 2026, and arrived at just the right time to encounter multiple planets. The combined probability of these coincidences is less than 1 in a million. Think about this from an engineering perspective. If you wanted to study multiple planets efficiently, you'd design a trajectory that stays close to the plane where planets orbit. You'd time your arrival to maximize planetary encounters. That's exactly what Atlas is doing. The object will pass 54 million kilometers from Jupiter, close enough for detailed observations if it carries instruments. As Loeb points out, if the trajectory was designed by extraterrestrial intelligence, the 5 degrees inclination makes perfect sense. It's the ideal angle to observe transits of main belt asteroids. Some scientists propose an even wilder possibility. Dr. Suzanne Finire suggests objects like Atlas might be planetary seeds. Her simulations show that massive interstellar objects falling into young solar systems could jumpstart planet formation. Instead of taking millions of years to grow from dust, planets could form rapidly around these ready-made cores. If true, part of Jupiter's mass might have come from an ancient interstellar visitor. Speed is another red flag. Currently racing at 37 kilometers per second relative to Mars, Atlas will accelerate to 42 kilometers per second near the Sunday. That's 240,000 km divided by h, fast enough to circle Earth in 10 minutes. This isn't unusual for interstellar objects, but combined with its mass, it represents tremendous kinetic energy. If this were artificial, it would represent technology far beyond human capability. Size estimates keep growing as we get better data. Initial observations suggested something modest, maybe a few hundred meters across. Now, we're looking at a nucleus roughly 3 kilometers wide. That's 3 kilometers of solid material, not counting the surrounding gas cloud. For perspective, that's larger than the asteroid that killed the dinosaurs. Imagine something the size of a small mountain flying through space at speeds that would cross the United States in under 2 minutes. European Space Agency spacecraft are our last hope for answers. While NASA went dark, ESA's Mars Express and ExoMars spacecraft continued observations. The upcoming JUICE spacecraft will intercept Atlas in November 2025, though data transmission delays mean we won't see results immediately. These observations could finally reveal whether the object has unusual surface features or internal structures. What makes this truly terrifying isn't any single anomaly. It's the pattern. Every measurement pushes the boundaries of what's naturally possible. The mass is too large, the composition too strange, the timing too perfect, the trajectory too precise. Scientists use the term black swan event, something so unlikely it forces us to reconsider our assumptions. Avi Loeb is blunt. Those insisting Atlas is purely natural must explain all 7 anomalies through natural processes. So far, no one has. The object seems to glow in ways regular comets don't. Some predict it might evaporate dramatically or break into pieces near the sun in late October. Others think it might surprise us again by remaining intact. The most disturbing possibility is that Atlas represents what Loeb calls a Trojan horse, technology disguising itself as a natural object. The perfect camouflage would be to look almost like a comet, but not exactly. Different enough that careful observation reveals the truth, but similar enough to avoid immediate detection. Consider the implications. If an advanced civilization wanted to study solar systems, what better way than sending probes that look like natural objects? They could gather data for millions of years drifting between stars, occasionally passing through systems like ours. The 5 degrees orbital alignment would make sense if the probe was designed to encounter multiple planets efficiently. The unusual resistance to solar storms would be expected from advanced materials. We're not saying Atlas is definitely artificial. The scientific consensus still leans toward natural origins, but the accumulation of anomalies has reached a point where even conservative scientists are asking uncomfortable questions. This object is forcing us to confront possibilities we've always relegated to science fiction. As Atlas approaches the sun, we're running out of time to study it. On December 19th, 2025, it will pass 268 million kilometers from Earth. Our last good viewing opportunity before it disappears forever into interstellar space. Whatever secrets it holds, we have just weeks to uncover them. After that, it becomes another mystery lost to the cosmic dark. The universe just got a lot stranger and potentially a lot more crowded. Whether Atlas is natural or artificial, it's shown us that interstellar visitors can be far more massive, complex, and mysterious than we imagine. The next one might be even more unusual. And if this one taught us anything, it's that we need to be ready. If this video opened your eyes to the mysteries lurking in our solar system, hit that like button and subscribe for updates as we track Atlas toward the Sunday. Drop a comment with your theory about what this object really is and share this with someone who thinks space is boring. This will change their mind.